It is the night of November 19, 1274. On the shores of Hakata Bay, two worlds are about to collide. The disciplined steel of the Shogun samurai and the unstoppable storm of the Mongol Empire. What unfolds here will not just be a clash of armies, but a battle between courage and annihilation. Out on the dark horizon, faint orange glows flicker. Lanterns carried by ships, not dozens, not hundreds, but nearly 900. The Mongols are here. An armada unlike anything Japan has ever seen drifts steadily toward the shore. Drums beating, horns echoing, the sound of thunder riding across the waves. On the beaches, the Shogun samurai stand in formation, their faces hidden behind grim masks of iron. Hands tighten on katana, the men breathe heavily inside their helmets, their eyes fixed on the horizon. They know the stories of how these invaders crushed the kingdoms of Korea, swept across China like a firestorm, and now arrive here carrying the command of Kublai Khan himself. Behind them lies their homeland, their temples, their families. Before them lies an empire that bows to no one. At the order of the Shogun, Hojo Tokumune, they wait, bracing themselves against the fear crawling in their chests. The air thickens, the drums grow louder, the Mongol fleet draws closer. This is the moment of decision. But how did Japan find itself staring down the greatest empire the world has ever seen? To understand, we must step back. Only a few decades earlier, the Mongols are little more than scattered nomads on the steppes of Central Asia. But under the vision of Genghis Khan and his successors, they explode outward, conquering Persia, Russia, China, an empire that stretches farther than the eye can imagine. By the late 1200s, Genghis Khan's grandson, Kublai Khan, rules the mighty Yuan dynasty in China. Yet conquest does not satisfy him. His gaze turns across the seas, toward the islands of Japan. For Kublai, Japan is more than just a new land. It is a symbol, a nation of warriors and wealth that must kneel before the might of the Khan. So in 1266, he sends envoys across the sea with a simple message: submit to Mongol authority or face war. But Japan is no ordinary kingdom. It is a land ruled not by an emperor in palaces, but by the shogun, the true power, the military ruler who commands the samurai. The man in power is Hojo Tokumune, a leader barely in his 20s, but iron-willed, known for his discipline and unshakable resolve. When the Mongol envoys deliver Kublai's demand, Tokumune makes a decision that will define Japan's future. He refuses. The Mongols send more envoys. Each time, Tokumune gives the same answer: silence, rejection, defiance. Finally, in an act of ruthless finality, he executes the Khan's messengers. To the Mongols, this is unforgivable. To Tokumune, it is necessary. And now, the Empire of the Steppe turns its fury toward Japan. It is November 1274. The Mongols arrive with an armada of around 900 ships, carrying perhaps 30,000 men. Mongol cavalry, Chinese conscripts, Korean sailors. Against them, the Japanese muster around 10,000 samurai. The samurai wait on the shores of Hakata Bay, armored in lacquer and steel. They are ready for the style of war they know: single combat, where one warrior challenges another. But the Mongols fight differently. As the invaders land, drums and gongs echo, and the battlefield explodes in chaos. The Mongols unleash volleys of arrows, storms of catapult stones, and thunderous explosions from primitive gunpowder bombs. The samurai are stunned. Their arrows cannot reach as far. Their swords cannot break enemy formations. They charge bravely, but find themselves swallowed in clouds of smoke, pierced by strange weapons they have never seen. For a moment, it seems Japan will collapse, but the samurai fight with ferocity, their determination unshaken. Battle rages all day until nightfall. The Mongols, though pushing inland, pull back to their ships. Perhaps they plan to strike again at dawn. But then, fate intervenes. A storm rises over Hakata Bay, suddenly and violent. Waves slam against the Mongol fleet. Ships crash into one another. Hundreds sink into the churning sea. Thousands of invaders drown before they can return to shore. When dawn breaks, the bay is littered with wreckage and corpses. The samurai watch in awe. The Mongol army has vanished, swallowed by the sea. Was it chance, or was it the hand of the gods? Back in Kamakura, Shogun Tokumune does not relax. He knows Kublai Khan will not forgive defeat. The shogunate strengthens defenses. Stone walls rise along the coast of Kyushu. Fortifications stretch for miles. Samurai drill relentlessly, their discipline hardening. For 7 years, Japan lives in the shadow of a storm that might return at any moment. And Kublai Khan does not disappoint. Furious at the humiliation of 1274, he demands another invasion. This time, he gathers an armada far greater than the first, perhaps 4,400 ships and more than 140,000 men. It is the largest naval invasion the world has ever seen. It is summer 1281. Once again, the horizon darkens with sails. Mongols, Chinese, and Koreans arrive in 2 massive fleets converging on Kyushu. The Shogun samurai are ready this time, standing behind walls of stone, their bows drawn, their spears braced. The Mongols attempt to land, but the fortifications hold firm. Samurai leap into small boats under cover of night, raiding enemy ships, setting them aflame, cutting down soldiers before they can touch shore. For weeks, the coastline is a battlefield of fire and steel. Yet the Mongols press on, their numbers overwhelming. The Japanese grow weary. The balance of the war hangs by a thread. And then, once again, nature itself chooses sides. In August, as the Mongol fleet gathers off Kyushu's coast, the sky darkens, winds howl. A typhoon roars across the sea with apocalyptic fury. For 2 days, waves slam against the invading armada. Ships splinter. Thousands of men are hurled into the ocean. The fleet is torn apart. Those who survive struggle to reach shore, only to be cut down by samurai waiting in the surf. When the storm clears, the Mongol invasion is no more. Of the massive armada, only scattered survivors remain. Kublai Khan's dream of conquering Japan has been destroyed, not once, but twice, by steel, by stone, and by storm. Japan calls the typhoons Kamikaze, the divine winds. To the people, it is proof that the gods themselves guard their islands. To Tokumune, it is validation of his defiance, a sign that the shogunate stands protected. The Mongols never attempt another invasion. In time, the legend of the Kamikaze becomes a cornerstone of Japanese identity, a belief that their land is shielded by the heavens, that no foreign invader can claim it. The walls built by Tokumune's shogunate still stand, silent reminders of the days when the greatest empire in history came knocking and the sea itself rose to Japan's defense.